everybody, I'm Julie Christine. Happy Thursday. Welcome to another one of my live makeup tutorials. I'm here with Blanca tonight and we're going to do something really fun. I haven't done anything super dramatic on the eyes yet, so she is the perfect model to do like an Arabian inspired, very exotic looking smoky eye. So I'm going to teach you guys that tonight. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start as her darkest shadow. This is a MAC paint pot. This is Constructivist. So just like I prime people's eyes a lot with one of the more nude shades before I start, this one, they actually come in colors. So this is like a medium brown. So when you're going darker, like if you want to do black shadows or dark browns, it is so much easier to get a good color payoff if you lay down a base. So you can use like a gel eyeliner or anything cream. These are awesome because they blend really well, but they have a lot of pigment to them. So I'm going to take that and I'm just going to go in with like any fluffy blending brush. I think this is a MAC one. And I'm just going to get it on the brush. Go ahead and close for me. So what my goal is, I want to lay down a lot of pigment on her lid because we're going in with a black eyeshadow after this. And I want all my pigment to be by the base, and then I want to blend it up. So even though we're going in with shadows over this, you still want every step you do to be blended. It just makes it so much easier on yourself. So when I lay my brush down first, I have like a lot of the product. And this does spread well. It does kind of dry like matte, so if you moved between the eyes, it wouldn't blend as easy, but it blends pretty well, especially when they're brand new. So when I took out this product, I put it on a matte metal spatula just to keep it sanitary because she's a client. But even if it's your own, I still recommend like putting it on your hand or something like that instead of sticking your brush right in it, because your brush usually has shadows, or if it's not clean, it makes the product kind of age, like it won't last as long. Okay, so what I'm doing, I really want to change her eye shape. I want it to be a little bit more dramatic. So I'm really extending this brown color out pretty far, like out even past the tail of her brow. But I'm just flicking it when there's not much left on my brush. And if you get too much, you can even like rub it off on your hand. But you can see at this point, like there's nothing really coming off. So that's like a perfect time to do your blending. And bring it up pretty high. And since it's a cream, you can blend it with your fingers too. Like if there's like a patchy part. Okay. Darken it up a little bit more. The darker this is, the darker like your whole look will be. So if you wanted to like do the same look but have it be softer, like maybe for like a daytime look or something, you could just do one layer of this. So I love the MAC paint pots, but I tried, I think Maybelline has like kind of a version of that. Like they have little pots and they're like a cream color base. And they actually work really well. I got one to try one time. I feel like they dry out a little bit faster than the MAC ones do, but they work really well. Okay, same thing on the other side. So I'm starting right near her lashes. I'm getting that very dark. And I lift her brow just to get right in there on the lash line. And I do want to bring it in here too. I want some darkness. And then I'm buffing it up. It's the same thing. When there's not a ton left on my brush, I'm flicking it outward, just to start that shape. And when I go in with the liner and stuff like that, I'll add even more of a wing, but this is just my base. We already did her brows before we started. I did her brows and I did a little bit, I laid concealer down first just to mask any darkness or discoloration. You can go straight in with this since this is an eyeshadow base, but if you have anything you want to conceal, it does help to do concealer first. Look at me. Go ahead and open. Good. Go ahead and open towards the camera. So you can already see it's kind of smoky. You can see like pulling out on the sides. Gives her eyes kind of a lifted, like more exotic look. Go ahead and look up for me. And I'm going to go underneath. Just a little bit. I'm going to go in. This is like a shader brush. I'm going to go in with that same product under her eyes. Go ahead and look up for me. I didn't even tell her what we were going to do on her tonight till right before we started, but she said she likes dramatic makeup, so we're good, right? It won't be too dramatic. Okay, so I'm just laying down a little bit of smoke right there. So now that we have that base kind of laid down, I'm going to go in with my shadow. So I am going to go in. This is the Viseart palette that I really like. I'm going to go in with their black. Alright, and this is a more narrow tapered brush. Go ahead and close for me. So this one's really good for detail work and getting right in there. So I want to really start extending her shape a little bit. So I'm just going in with a light layer of that black. Actually, let's try that doesn't have a black. It's hot. I feel like it's hard to find a really like pigmented black. And the Visearts their black is good, but I like the Anastasia one a little bit better. It's in the Soft Glam palette. You can buy their single shadows, but I have the Modern Renaissance. That one doesn't have the black. Okay, so I'm keeping it on the outer part, but then I'm dusting it all over her lid. Just lightly. And the brown, the Constructivist paint pot that we put on before, it's a little bit metallic, so some of that kind of peeks through, which I like. Gives it a little bit of life to this look instead of being super flat. When there's not, same thing, when there's not much left on your brush, you can buff it right into the crease. Let me know in the comments, those of you that are watching live, and if you're watching the replay, let me know in those comments. But let me know what kind of looks you guys wanted to see. I was thinking now that it's kind of like holiday season, it'd be fun to do different looks. If you guys are going to holiday parties or something like that, let me know what you would like to see. So if you wanted this really intense, you could use more of a flat, like packing brush, which we are going to do a little bit of that later. But I've found it's just so much easier to get your blending if you just do it in layers. You also, if you wanted to do like a really blacked out smoky eye, you could, I wouldn't use a brown as a base, I would use a black. Okay. Super pretty. All right. So now that that is on, I want to diffuse the crease just a little bit. When I do like a cool color, like a cool gray or a black, I usually like to warm up the crease a little bit. So I'm going to go in with, let's mix these two. So not super warm, I just like to give it a little bit of life. I feel like otherwise it looks kind of flat. Okay. And I barely want any, like I dabbed it off on my hands first. This helps diffuse it too. Like sometimes the black is kind of harsh and you need to buff it out with something. And this is really good for that. So once that is on, I'm going to start working with the liner, and then I'm going to add a wing on both ends. So I'm going to go in, this is a kohl pencil, go ahead and look up for me, and I'm going to do her bottom waterline, and we want to go heavy with the liner. And if you use any type of an eyeliner pencil that has the word kohl in it, like an eye kohl, it's going to blend so much better, and they're safe for the eye area to do in the waterline. But they're like a lot softer than liners usually tend to be. So I'm going to pull it. I want an inner wing, but it's really hard to do with a pencil. Like, you just can't get a sharp line. So what I'm going to do is just extend it a little bit, and then I'm going to go in with a little angled brush, and I'm going to wing it out a lot more. But since this is an eye kohl, it's pretty pliable, so I'm going to be able to go back in and play with that. And I'm going to show you something really fun with lashes too when we're done with that really help like create the look. Look down for me. Go ahead and open and kind of look down. Perfect. So I am going to go like on her inner line up here, but I don't have to worry about getting it too perfect. Her lashes look kind of over this way. Good. Just so you're not looking straight at the brush. Her lashes are more downturned, so you really can't see her inner waterline up there, so I don't have to worry too much about it, but I do want to put a little bit of color up there. Look up for me. Same in here, because this is where you can see it when she opens her eyes. Good. Perfect. Go ahead and close for me. Okay. Now I'm going to lift her brow and wiggle it right in between her lashes. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do a wing on her, but I want it to be diffused. So if I want a really sharp wing, I'm going to use like a liquid liner or even a gel and just an angled brush. If I want it diffused, I love the pencils. You can diffuse it with a gel too, but usually they just dry so quick, they're not like as pliable. Look forward for me. Just like really softly drawing a little wing on either side. Okay. So I'm going to use, this is the Anastasia brush. This is the brush I actually always use when I do the brows with dip brow. But I like it because it's super sharp. Like, you can see how like narrow it is, so it's really good for detail work. So I'm just sharpening that line and buffing it up. The same thing with this one. You can see how that kohl pencil spreads. Like, even though I put it on a little bit ago, you can still like move it around. Go ahead and close for me. So if you have oily eyelids, or your eyelids are hooded or something, your eyeliner tends to transfer, this look won't be super long lasting for you. I maybe would want to do, instead of the kohl pencil, I'd probably say to do a gel. But you can play with that and see how it works. Okay, same black. This little brush again. These shader brushes are so good for detail work. So we're going to go into the black. Go ahead and close for me. And I really want some definition right down here. I want to extend her eye shape, so I'm just packing in that. I'm pressing the black in. So if you want to blend, you do little circles. You do buffing motions. If you want to really pack in pigment, you do pressing motions. So I'm pressing it in and then I'm swiping it up. You can bring it up pretty high, like I'm pressing it high up onto her lid because I really want that cat eye shape and that wing. Okay, perfect. This side, and you can see the difference between the two sides. This one's a lot more extended. This one almost just looks, not messy, but just like more buffed out. Go ahead and close. Same thing, just pressing. And because this is like a sharper brush, like this one's not fluffy, it's really dense. You can like almost draw a line with it, with the shadow, like kind of draw a little wing. I would do that when you have less powder on your brush though, because otherwise you'll get like a harsh line at the top. Like it's not going to draw a really thin line, it's just going to draw kind of a more chunky one. Close. Turn towards me, good. Alright, and we're going to sharpen this one up a little bit to match the other one. Look at me. Good, close. So what I do is like, I'll put a lot of powder on my brush, I'll draw the line, and then I'll start flicking it up, and then when there's not a ton left, I'll do like the little flick of the end. Okay, back to my little blending brush. Just gonna buff that in close for me. Bring it up onto the lid a little bit more. Same with over there. You can see how blended everything is already. Like you can keep building it places you want darker, but if you've already done the blending, it's so much easier. Like I'll see people do smoky eyes and they'll just go in and pack on the dark color and then they'll try to blend it out, which is fine, it works. It's just so much harder. If you ever want to diffuse anything, especially corners, I'll use like a clean brush because then you're not going to smudge anything. Okay, I'm just going to clean up her corners. Just a little bit. I did a little bit of concealer under her eyes, but we're going to touch it up after we do her foundation. Okay, I'm going to go back in. I wanted to find this little inner corner a little bit, so I'm going to go in with that really skinny angle brush. Look over this way for me, perfect. And this is just eyeshadow. If you like liquid liner, I love the Kat Von D, her liquid liner, that one's really good. And I really love the Stila one. Look over this way for me. Kind of turn your head, perfect, but turn your eyes that way. Those are both really good and really sharp. I don't use liquid liner on clients a ton because you just have to toss it. Like you can't keep using it on different people. But those are my favorites. Okay. So another thing, after you do the kohl liner on the inner waterline, like you'll notice almost everybody, especially if you have watery lines, like it kind of starts to fade away. Like you can almost see the pink peeking through. So there's two things you can do to fix it. You can obviously just touch it up again. Go ahead and look up. Which I usually do. Like I'll do it and they'll kind of blink and it will get diffused a little bit, and if you do a second layer that helps. But then this is the trick I really love. Let me see if I have it. Yeah, I love this brush. It's like just a flat brush, and then I'll go in with eyeshadows. Whenever you put a powder on top of a cream, it locks it in. Go ahead and look up for me. And that applies to anything. So I like this brush because it's like exactly the size of the waterline. So I'm just pressing it right on top of that kohl that we did. And that's gonna do two things. It's gonna keep it black longer, and it's also gonna keep it from transferring. Like if you have the eye shape, or your eyes are oily or watery, that where like you put eyeliner on and it migrates down your face, this will help keep it from doing that. Same with anything. Same with foundation. That's usually why we put powder over it, is to keep it lasting longer. Go ahead and look up. Another thing I like to do is if I am doing a cream lipstick and I want it to last all day, like I'll blot it and then I'll put a little bit of translucent powder over it and then another layer of lipstick, and it literally lasts like as long as a liquid lip does. It's awesome. Okay. To define this look, I really want her under eye to be like pretty dark. So I'm going in with this same packing brush and I'm just diffusing that down. This is going to give a lot of drama too. Whenever you do shadows under the eye, it always adds more intensity to the look. You just have to be careful that you keep in line with that kind of wing you've created. You don't want to change the shape too much, so I like the darkness to be by the lash line, and then I'll buff it down a little bit. And a good trick to keep it diffused, same thing we did on top, go in with a clean brush after, and it's going to buff out your edges for you. Also, that same warmer color that we did, like in the crease, just to add some dimension, I'm going to do that under her eyes too. Look up for me. And I'm just doing this right over the black, just on the bottom. So this will keep it from looking harsh. All right. Okay. Let's go in and do her foundation, and then I'm going to come back and show you guys my trick with the lashes that I really like to do. So I am going to use a cream foundation on her today. It's almost gone, the shade. Gonna buff it in with my beauty blender. When I do darker eyes, I like a foundation that has more coverage. I feel like it looks more polished. And I already did, like after I did her brows, I put a little bit of foundation around them. If you do your brows before foundation, watch out that you don't kind of like rub them off, depending on what kind of product you use. Sometimes, like if you're using a beauty blender or something, you go around the brows, you'll just take the brow off, basically, which is a bummer. So I like my brows to be nice and defined. So with her brows were very arched, and I wanted to give them, like they were round, and I wanted to give them more of like an angled arch. If we can we play the before video right now? Go ahead and play the before video and I'll show you kind of what, pay attention to her brows and I'll explain what I did, why I put her foundation on. Okay, so you can kind of see that was before. So what I did, instead of following her natural shape, I extended my line of the dip brow more slanted. So like my line goes this way and her eyebrows were arched, and that makes a huge difference. I see that all the time. Just sometimes that's our natural shape, but it's not always like what's most flattering. Look up for me. And be careful when you do like a dark shadow and it gets under your eyes, make sure it's like cleaned off all the way, otherwise your under eye will look muddy. Towards me, good. Okay, just gonna blend this down her neck a little bit. And then for concealer, I'm gonna use like a very yellow toned under eye concealer because I don't want it to look ghostly in contrast to the dark eyes. If you're the type that really likes to highlight under the eyes and use like a concealer that's a couple shades lighter, notice when you do like more of a neutral smoky eye, like sometimes it just doesn't balance well. Like you need the warmth under the eyes. That's why for her I'm choosing a color with a lot of yellow in it. If you like nose contouring, it makes a big difference to bring the concealer up the sides of the nose. It helps slim it. Okay. So now that that is on, I'm just going to blend it in with my blender. And I'm being careful not to go too high up under her eye because I might use a separate brush for that just so we don't take away all the powder that we put under there. Look up for me. Good. I really like these Sigma brushes. They're like a little baby kabuki brush. They're really good for spreading things around, keeping it really blended. Okay, let's do some contour. I'm going to start with this, the Hoola bronzer. This one has a lot of warmth to it. And then I'm going to go in with my Too Faced one. So her forehead, since her hairline comes in a little bit more there, I don't need to contour the side so much. I'm just going to contour the top and then buff it in. And if someone has like a really narrow forehead, you don't need to even contour it. Like sometimes I'll brush a little bit of color on it just so it has like that warmth so it blends with everything, but point of contouring is to change the shapes of something. So if it's too big, you'd make it smaller, but if it's too small, you don't want to make it even smaller. Okay, this Too Faced, this is the Chocolate Soleil. This is the medium color, and this is a super good color for medium skin tones if you want to contour because it's not too orange. The Hoola one works pretty well across the board. I usually use it on my more fair clients, but it does have so much warmth in it, I can use it on my medium tones too. And I can go, because I did heavier on the eyes, I can go heavier on the contour with her. Okay, and I am going to contour her nose just a little bit. We'll use this. And I really like angled kabuki brushes because you can just draw a little line. I go pretty light with this. And I'm going to buff it out with that same kabuki brush. So this is just adding a little bit of pigment over it, and that's what blends it. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with her cheek color. I'm going to do like a brown toned lip on her today. So I'm going to go in with this MAC Mineralized Skin Finish blush. It's called Warm Soul. It's really pretty. It has a sheen to it, so it just gives some life to the face. And it is a great color for any nude lipstick or anything warm undertone. This is super pretty. Okay, I'm gonna add some highlight. This one is from the Nicole Guerrero palette. This is Glow Getter in 143. Just going to do it on the high points of her cheeks. And these are like very shiny. They're very frosty. Okay. I'm going to add, sometimes I like to contour with my blushes a little bit. So I'm going to go, I can go in with this like peachy color. Actually, that's a little too orange for me. Let's do this one. This is a MAC one. And this one's matte. This one's not shiny. Oh, there's my dog. Sometimes I'll do like my darker color up here, and then I'll fade it into like a lighter, shinier blush up there, and it gives like a really pretty diffused sort of an ombre look, and it helps give dimension to the face. Okay, let's do lashes, and then we'll do lips. So before I do lashes, I really love the olive in her shirt. So I want to add a pop of that on her eyes. So I'm going to go back into my eyeshadow palette. And this one, I think this is called Sumptuous Olive. It is by MAC, and it literally is the prettiest olive green. It has like a little flecks of gold in it. Go ahead and close. This one is so pretty. So I'm just going to pop that right on the middle. Give it a little life. Totally is like identical to her shirt color. Be careful when you do this because it's gonna really grab it because of that cream base you put on. So I'm keeping it right to the center, and then I'm just barely like tapping it out so that it blends a little bit. But I just want that pop of pigment. Like this has shine to it, so I want that shine in the middle of her eyes. It'll make it look more 3D. And then I'm gonna go back in with any of your blending brushes you had the brown on, not black. You can go and diffuse the edges. Okay. First, you need to curl the lashes. And you can see how she has like amazing lashes. They're so pretty. They're like really long, but they grow pretty straight down, which I found people with naturally black lashes that are really thick and awesome like yours, they do, I don't know if they're just heavy or what, but they do grow straight down. So we are going to curl it. Do you curl your lashes? Something? No? Okay. If this is weird, that's okay. So what I'm going to do is have you just look forward. I'm going to put this kind of close, and before I squeeze tight, I'm going to ask, does that pinch at all? Okay, perfect. You do not want to squeeze tight if it's pinching them. Okay. And you can even tell just that, like just on her natural lashes, like this eye looks like way more open and way more awake. We'll do this one now. Does that pinch? Okay. This is the Kevin Aquan eyelash curler. I think you can get it at Sephora. I love it. Like it holds the curls so well. Sometimes lash curlers, like, does that pinch? They'll just bend it, like they almost give it like an awkward shape. I think we have a couple questions. I'm going to answer those way. Michelle says, hi, I love your videos. Thank you, Michelle. She says, this is my first time catching you live. Would love to see a Christmas sparkly eye. Okay, great suggestion. I would love to do a Christmas sparkly eye for you guys. That's awesome. So I will put that on my list. Thank you for watching. Okay. So what I'm going to do for her lashes is I really want to give her a cat eye look. So I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to put on a lash as a base, and then I'm going to show you guys how to stack little lash clusters to really build a lash that you want. So these are the Demi Wispies. I use these a lot. They're super natural. In my opinion, they're too natural for this look, but I really like them as a base. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on first and then layer lashes over top. So when I do like a cat eye like this, I really like a cat eye with the lash, obviously, because it kind of ties the whole look together. But I have had a hard time finding like a lash strip that's a cat eye that I like. Like they just, I don't know, they don't put the weight in the right place. Like sometimes it just makes the eye look droopy. So usually what I like to do is just kind of build my own cat eye lash with little clusters. Sorry, my dogs are working tonight. I have no clue why. Okay, so this just has to dry for a second. So what I'm gonna do with these, she has big, beautiful eyes, so she has a great eye space. So these Dimmy Wispies actually are like a little bit smaller than her eye will be. I'll show you when this dries. And I pop it on. Try to find my little tweezers. We'll use these. Okay. These are like my nice eyebrow. These are the Anastasia brow tweezers. But if you use your nice tweezers to put on lashes, you're gonna ruin the tension and they won't pull as well. But I can't find my other ones, so I'm gonna use them. Okay, look down for me, but don't close. So what I'm gonna do with these, and I'll show you when she opens her eyes, is because her eyes are larger than the strip, I'm gonna mostly put these more towards the inner corner. So she's gonna have a space on her outer corner, but because I am putting like lash clusters in that corner, it's fine. Like I just wanna make sure she has something on her inner corner. Okay, go ahead and look forward for me, good. These lashes really are so pretty. I don't know what it is about them. These ones are a little cat-eyed, these Dimmy Wispies, but I think because they're not very long, they're like so natural, they're pretty. Like I like the lift that they give. And this is, we're doing black glue. Sometimes the clear, like it dries clear, but it looks, if you do it over something that's really heavy, like black eyeshadow, it can look a little bit gray, and then you have to go over it with like a liquid liner or a gel, so I'm just going to use the black glue. That way we don't have to. Okay. This dries pretty fast, but you still need to make sure that it's tacky enough. If you guys are not following me on Facebook and Instagram, follow me. It's Julie Christine Beauty for both of them, because I've had so many people message me and ask if I can show you guys how to put on lashes. So I'll go live there maybe this weekend or next weekend, and I'll show you on myself, because I was wearing eyelash extensions but I'm not now. So I'll show you how I put on my strip, and you guys can kind of follow along with me, because I know that's something that everyone kind of struggles with, most of you. And they make such a huge difference. Like once you learn how to put on lashes, like your makeup game will change, and it's awesome. Okay, look up for me. There's a little bit of shadow or something down there. Okay, so even those made a big difference, but we're gonna add some more. But first I'm gonna put a little bit more mascara. So sometimes when you have really naturally straight lashes, like even when you curl them with a really awesome curler and stuff, they'll still kind of migrate downward until you put on your mascara. Like the mascara is kind of like glue. So usually I'll curl them, I'll get the strip on, and then I'll put the mascara, and then they're gonna stay lifted. And then we're gonna put on those little lash clusters. And also look forward, I'm going to show you guys something. So you can see, like pay attention to what they look like now, and then look again after I do the mascara. Like they almost, like even though her natural lashes are totally black, they're amazing, they still look like a little bit cloudy. Like once I get the mascara on, they look more precise and more defined. You can look down for me. Just going to press her natural ones right into these little Dimmy Wispies. I always get asked what glue I use and like what lashes, and I made a little page on Amazon because that's where I get my glue and a lot of my lashes, because I just buy like the generic brands off of Amazon because they're the same. So I have a little link to Amazon I'll put on tonight when I change the thumbnail, and you can go and you can see like everything's listed on one spot for you guys. Okay, go ahead and look forward. So you can see just with the mascara, it darkens everything up and it looks so pretty. Okay, now I'm going to show you. So these are the House of Lashes. These are the Le Petit Triple, and these are the double. I've used some of them, so I don't know if you can tell. So these are like little lash flares, but there's two of them together, and they are so pretty. They're awesome. Oh, Nikki's on. Hi, Nikki. She says, I hope you're well. I just woke up. and saw you were live. The makeup is beautiful. You have an amazing talent. You are so sweet. Thank you. Nikki's in. Are you in England? I know you were like not in our time zone, so thank you for watching. And Aria said, this look is gorgeous. Your model's hair is goals. I know. Her hair is so pretty. We were talking about it before we started. It's gorgeous. It's like crazy thick. Thank you guys. Thank you for your comments and for watching. Okay. We'll pull these out. So these are super thick. Just put some glue on my hand and I'm going to start applying them. So I'm basically just going to build her lash. I want some thickness on the outer edges, so I'm just going to start applying it. Okay. So with this glue, when you do the lashes, you have to wait for the glue to dry before you put it on. But not with this, you can just set it on. Go ahead and look down. So I'm not going to set this on the very, very outer edge because they flare out, but pretty close. And if you have not worked with little lash clusters before, you need to. They will change your life. They're so pretty. And they're way easier to put on over a strip. Like if you're good at putting on strips, try putting on some little lash clusters over top. They're so pretty. Sometimes on my bridal clients, I won't even do a strip first. I'll literally build them a lash out of like almost individual little lashes, and it's super pretty. Okay, open for me. Look down. So I did 4 of these. It's kind of hard for you guys to see probably. I'm almost done. And you want to make sure like these are tilted upwards a little bit. Like if they point too far down, you won't be able to see them. Look at me. Okay. Let's do a little more. Okay, look forward. So pretty. You can see it just is like kind of heavy on the outer corners, which I really like. And if you want more lift, you can always push it up with your fingers. So these come like they're in 3 rows, and these are like short, medium, long. So I can even take the long ones. I'm gonna take the doubles. So these aren't the triples, these are the doubles. And I'm gonna put a long one right there. Okay, so this is their longest layer. These are a little bit more wispy. It's not too put together. Like these are very chunky, which I like. These are more wispy, so go ahead and close. I'm gonna put them right here. I always see people do it right on the outside, and that's what makes it look droopy. You want the length right in there, so it still gives that cat eye and that lift, but you're not gonna drop the eye. And I have 4, so I'm gonna do 2 on each side. My glue is drying. This brand of glue, I'm using Callus. It dries really fast. So if you put it on your hands and do the individuals, you're gonna have to keep reapplying. If you use Duo, you can probably just get by with like 1 dollop. Okay, good. Perfect. Turn towards me. 2 on the other side. Look down. Good. And this is totally visual. Like every time you do a little cluster, you can have them look at you and see how it looks. So what I am going to do, look forward. I just want it to transition right there between the 2. So I'm going to go back into my triples. And I'm going to go in with the shortest one and put it right in the middle. And that just is going to help like the bulkiness of the side transition into the thinness of the front. Look down. But it's still going to keep that cat eye shape. These are pretty for holiday too. Like if you're going to a party or something and you want to really step up your look, I love adding these. Okay, look forward. Super pretty. Okay, let's do her lips. Gonna go in with a lip liner. Let's do this one's called Spice. Spice Way. Sharpen it first. Open for me. This one's just like a warm nude. It's going to blend right into her skin, but when I do nudes, I really like to give definition to the lip first. Just so the lips don't look like whited out basically, or erased. Especially on the top, like she has good natural pigment to her lips, but a lot of times people's will fade away like as they get to the edges, so that's more where you're defining. And if you do a color close to their skin tone, you don't have to bring it all over the lips, just on the outside. Towards nude. Perfect. Let's do a little bit of Spirit, and then we'll put some Myth in the middle. Almost all my lipsticks are MAC. This is MAC. Okay, this is Spirit. This is a nude. It's like a teeny bit, it's like a warm color, but it has like a teeny bit almost of a mauve. You kind of pull a little bit pink. And then I'm going to show you guys a trick to make the lips look fuller. Actually, I think I used this lip combo on my model last time, but it looked completely different. Get me. I like to play around, like if people have pretty tones in their hair, like she has a little bit of red in here, I want it to play off like in the makeup a teeny bit, usually, not always. Sometimes you want to contrast with it. So this, since this has a teeny bit of a pink, it plays well with her hair. Alright. This is just a concealer brush. It helps keep it everything sharp and clean. Okay, I'm going to take some Myth. That's a super light, very light nude lipstick color, and I'm going to put it right in the middle, and that's going to make her lips look really full. Gives it dimension too. Because there's so much dimension in this whole look. Like we did an ombre on her cheeks. Her eyes have a lot of dimension. I like to tie that into the lips too. Go ahead and blot for me. Okay. Let's do a little bit of gloss. This is MAC. I think this is Lady Gaga's Viva Glam. It's like a light nude. I love their lip gloss. I just got a NYX one to try, and those remind me a lot of the MAC. Like they're very creamy. They're just not as sticky, so they don't last as long. But if you don't like the stickiness, they're awesome. And I'm just putting the gloss in the middle of her lips just to help create that fullness. All right, are you ready to see? You look gorgeous. Okay, here's the mirror for you.
Ooh.
Super pretty.
Oh my god. Thank you.
You're welcome. See how much that green matches your top? The like olive.
It's my favorite color.
It's so pretty on you. It looks good on your hair.
That is actually my favorite lipstick.
Is it?
When I go dark on the eyes, this has to go this color, and it just
it
pops the eyes.
It does. It's like perfect for you with your hair.
Oh my god. Thank you.
You look beautiful. Let's play her before video one more time so you guys can see. All right, and then this is the after. So you can totally see, like, we extended her eyes. We added the inner liner, the outer liner, just to wing it out. That's what gives it that exotic look. And then the lashes, in my opinion, make a huge difference. I love the heaviness of the outside corners, but we just kept it in a little bit instead of going so much out here, and that keeps it lifted instead of looking like kind of droopy like that. And then we just did a nude lip. Looks gorgeous. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you next Thursday. See ya.